Welcome to Doorways to the Self Global Summit. I am your host, Diane Young Sussman, and my guest today is Kim. Could you share your last name with us?
Yes,
Van.
Van Sande. Yeah, it's a Dutch name, so I get that.
Beautiful name, beautiful name.
Yes,
So as we sit together on the threshold of this new eon, we gather all of the aspects of ourself back to the center. And with the courage and curiosity, we allow ourselves to pass through this portal, coming back to the fullness of our true nature. Each of our guests bring their unique expertise to this portal that opens us up to our greatest potential, bringing us to the tipping point of becoming, and finally coming to our full flourishing within the gift of presence. There are many doorways to the divine within, and we honor you, Kim, with your unique expertise and presence. Welcome.
thank you. Grateful to be here and sharing this sacred space with you and everyone tuning in, and yeah, being on this path of empowering love with everyone. So thank you.
So wonderful. So let me begin with sharing your bio for our audience so that they can get to know you a little bit better.
Yes.
Kim is a visionary on a mission to guide millions in reconnecting with love, to awaken their inner wisdom and divine spark. As a sacred architect, cosmic channel, and Akashic records master, she empowers others to navigate rapidly changing times, manifest their deepest desires, and fulfill true purpose fueled by love. She's a two-time international best-selling author and founder of the Flower of Love Mystery School lineage. Kim channels divine love teachings for Earth's evolution. Her embodied wisdom fuels her compassionate mentorship, recognizing the transformative power within. Kim finds inspiration in nature and family moments, inspiring others to embrace their limitless potential through love. So welcome, Kim.
Thank you.
Today's title is Awakening Your True Self with Love. I love that title. Embrace the magic within. So if you could
I'm
just,
excited to talk about it and to share.
uh,
Yes.
so I'm excited. Okay, so I'm wondering if you would share a little bit more about your personal journey of self-discovery and how that has led to the creation of your book and
Mhm.
your card deck and the Flower of Love lineage.
Yes, I will. And it's all honoring. I always start with it's following my heart, just like every one of you, and life is just guiding us through beautiful journeys, and sometimes it's going through their very deep healing journeys, or for me there were a lot of pivotal moments in my whole life. I always had the feeling there was more and I felt different, and I think a lot of you can relate to that. And I kept searching, but somehow I was searching for the answers outside of myself. So life kicked in, and all the things we thought we should do, like we need to go to college and get a degree, we need to get married and have children, and all the things. And it's beautiful, but in a way, it was finding my deeper purpose, my deeper fulfillment, and my knowing that there's more to life than just the 3D things that were all being taught to accumulate. And in that, by my search going outward to fulfillment, to like, what is my life? What is the meaning and what is the purpose? And I know I'm here to anchor different things, but I can't yet understand. And through the searching outside, at one point, my body, my field, my soul called me in different moments in my life to a halt, just like everyone else. And it doesn't have to come that far, but I had a burnout when I was in my 20s somewhere. And through that, I changed my diet, and I did some inner healing work, and I did some energy work and family constellations, and I shifted some things in my awareness. But the moment my symptoms went gone, or I felt good again, I started to live my normal life again. And in that, the old patterns kick in, like overgiving, overdoing, finding other people more important than my own, because I always wanted to be of service. And in that, I lost myself again until my soul knocked on my door I think almost 10 years later. And I found myself in a chronic illness, a very, very, very dark moment where I couldn't do anything anymore. I could only lay in bed, and there were so much things happening that I just cried and I just called out help from the divine, from source, from infinite oneness. But it was in that moment of stillness, I was finally ready to listen. And it doesn't mean when you're tuning into this that it has to come so far. But I can now see that that pivotal moment in my journey was my greatest gift. Because there were no distractions anymore, because I couldn't go out there anymore, I was forced to go within and to communicate again with my soul and to find out the codes of love again. The Flower of Love Mystery School lineages stepping forward in that time to help me to recover. And that it didn't mean that in one point everything shifted, but it supported me and it propelled me forward in this journey of loving all that I am. And through that, the moment we start to do that and recognize that, beautiful things unfold. And then you get beautiful people on your path, or just a beautiful message that inspires you, or beautiful books and gifts. And throughout that, yeah, this is like a fast forward because it was many years. But throughout that, at one point, the Flower of Love Mystery School lineage was born, but that is also goings with steps. So I don't know, I can share. I don't know if you want to ask a question before going into that part, but there are so
Oh,
many
please share
pivotal.
more about that. That's so fascinating, because some people will take that dark night of the soul, and
Yeah.
then it will just take them to such a place that they can't find their way out. And what you're sharing with us so beautifully is that you that you actually consciously recognize that going into that deep place,
Yeah.
you could open to a whole new aspect of your being and see it as the gift that it really is. So that's extraordinary. And that's what I consider coming to the doorway, because
Yes,
you
it is.
stepped through. You
Yeah, from
stepped through and created this beautiful, opening for
mm,
others.
yeah. But it's understanding because I really want to be like also honest about that moment. It was in my deepest despair. So in a moment, like sometimes we find ourselves in situations where you feel like nothing is working anymore. You've done so much your best and you've tried all these different things and it's not working. And in that moment, we surrender. And sometimes it's conscious or sometimes it's subconscious, but the moment we surrender, it is love that takes over. It is your soul that comes back. It's like, okay, when you are fully ready, when you have tried to hold on with control and with force, and your mind thinks like, okay, now life needs to be this way, and you're trying to manifest that and create that with all your energy, and it's not working, then it's like, okay, you surrender. And in that, suddenly things magically starts to shift because you let go. And that is sometimes the most difficult part, because for me, also in that moment, I had a choice. I could go down this path of this chronic illness, or I could choose something different. And I was already a young mom back then, so I didn't want my girls to grow up this way. And I wanted to see them grow up and to do beautiful things with them and not go to bed earlier than they did and all of that. So it was me reclaiming my choice and understanding the things we can shift with energy work, with healing. Because for me, the biggest awareness back then was that my body, my soul, was constantly giving me messages. Only I found it too inconvenient to listen because there was always something more important to do, or I was just not ready to go into the depths of my being. And in that moment, when I reconnected to love, I also felt the braveness to find the deeper parts within myself, because healing is also shadow work. It is going into these parts, these wounded parts of ourselves we've pushed away, we've neglected, we found too painful, or the parts of us that we judged. And now, with the power of love, I felt brave enough again. I felt empowered. I felt supported from within to see these parts of me, to say, I love you, I see you. And what I discovered in that, the moment we do that, and it doesn't mean we don't feel the emotions, because I cried so much. I felt everything. But by me being brave enough to feel it, the whole lineage was born, like my book. Somehow at one point I got the inspiration and my whole book got channeled in 20 hours. And that's when we are
Amazing.
willing to surrender,
Yeah.
beautiful things unfold. And that's the same for the Flower of Love Mystery School lineage. It didn't start like, okay, I want to create this. No, I channeled the book. And through me embodying the teachings of the book, suddenly other things got inspired. And it's like taking one step. And when we're brave enough to come out of our comfort zone, to take that step. So for me, channeling this book and birthing it into the world, my
And
soul
since
is
you're
guided.
since you're bringing up this book, could you
Yes.
share for our audience the name of the book and where they can
Yes.
find it?
It's called Activating the Flower of Love. And you can find it on Amazon and all the big online and offline bookstores. But it's really beautiful. And what I find interesting as well, and that's again feeling with our hearts and not our minds. The moment I channeled the book, I thought, okay, now it's done. It's out into the world. But then the whole editing comes and the publishing, and we grow through it. But I didn't understand back then that the moment we birthed something into the world and we anchor it onto paper, we then start to learn the teachings. Because before I thought, okay, now the channeling is there. I've birthed it like a baby. I've birthed it out into the world. But now the whole process comes of getting to know these teachings. And each day I'm being guided by these love codes to go into a deeper exploration of myself and everyone that gets in contact with it. So it's also understanding like we learn as we go. And I feel myself a student of love, and in that I get to guide others and understand also that we can help others to an extent, the depths we have gone ourselves. And so I see the gifts in my challenges in my life, and the growth it has given me to step up in the way to share with others in this now space. And also because that's what I love, the moment we allow love to take over, like creations happen with the speed of light. And it's like where before we thought, okay, with force and we're working hours, many hours, but when we're truly aligned, suddenly things just click into place and it just happens. But it's really being brave enough to let go of the control and letting go of how things need to look like. And that's also, yeah, again, a deeper exploration within ourselves, getting to know who we are, because that is the biggest shift in the future, I think. Yeah.
So, what is so interesting about what you just shared with us is that it came through like
Yeah.
outside of time and space, like it was just a divine opening channel, as you said. But then it started to awaken other and facilitated other layers
Yes.
within yourself and your own development. So you've been uncovering them almost as if it all came in as a divine download. And now, as you're integrating and embodying all of that, it's just like, growing exponentially in your awareness. So
Yeah.
extraordinary. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I love is because with each creation we grow through it. So also me, like there's one thing to channel these codes and bring them onto paper, but then the whole journey also came like, who am I to share these codes with the world? And the lifetimes where maybe we were killed for sharing this wisdom, for sharing these
Mm.
multidimensional love codes and anchoring them on earth. So it's again embracing the healing journey, and in everything I do, also within my mission and my purpose, it is my inner work that allows me to spread these codes wider. It's not in the old paradigm way where we think, no, this is the 10-step plan and it needs to look like this. It's not working anymore. This new earth way, it's like, follow your heart, go within, be brave and face every part of you. And in that, things really start to shift. And in that, things can go effortlessly. But it's really this paradigm shift of like the answers is not outside there. And yes, someone can hold space because sometimes it's very painful. And you notice that when you're connecting to a wounded part within yourself, like all these safety mechanisms go off, or these things where you think, okay, I need to go do something because I don't want to go there. So it's someone holding space, but still you're doing the inner work. And there's so much magic in these parts of us. And it's recognizing that. Like you don't have to be afraid of yourself. It is part of who you are. And love all these parts and witness them because there's so much power. There's so much, yeah, wisdom and things that want to be shared. Yes.
Beautiful. You did mention something about this new earth, and there are many people starting to say that the veils are lifting really,
Yeah.
from our timeline really very quickly right now.
Yeah.
And there's a huge upgrading and up leveling in terms of, what we're seeing in terms of our
Mm.
potentiality. And therefore, at the same time, we're going to be hitting
Yes.
into all those places that are not that, right? So,
Yeah.
like a lot. bubbles up or starts to come up to
Mm.
be cleared, really, or to be
Yeah.
worked on. Can you say a little bit more about that? You
Yeah.
seem to really really
Yes.
have a knowledge and handle on it.
I always love to explain it as well as Mother Earth is raising her vibration, because we're going through this rapid ascension journey right now. And that is because we're collectively choosing to embody higher frequencies. We're collectively choosing growth and expansion. And in that, it amplifies. So I always love an example to share it more beautifully. Let's like the Earth's frequency normally is about, I think, seven hertz or something. But
Mm-hmm.
now you see, especially with all the sun activity that is happening, that also the Earth is asking to ascend to higher frequencies. And sometimes these peaks go to 80 hertz or even higher. And it's understanding where before, like when before the Earth was not ascending so quickly, we would have, for example, a slower vibrational frequency in our field of 10 hertz. Normally, nothing would happen. But now, as the Earth ascends, suddenly she goes to 80, then our 10 hertz slower vibration will be hit. And it's understanding that everyone, whether you're on this journey or not, will get influenced by these frequencies, and you're being invited, as the Earth ascends, you're being invited to look at these slower vibrations, and they will come up. They will come up in the form of triggers, of challenges, of people mirroring you, your inner world. And it's understanding that you're not doing something wrong, because that is an important key. It is because the Earth is elevating, it is because you're rising, that these energies come up, and they come up not to hinder you. They come up as a message like, okay, this is happening in your inner world. This is happening in your subconscious field. And it's time for you to heal. And I think that's an important awareness in this time and space, because sometimes we can feel like, okay, I'm doing so my best, and why is this trigger happening? Or why do I feel so drained? And is my body so sore? But it's understanding, as the Earth ascends, all these things will get activated as an invitation to grow our light, as an invitation to step into our next level. But you can see it like an air balloon. If you're choosing to go into an air balloon, but you have all these heavy bags hanging on your basket, you will not rise. And now it's almost like the universe is showing you, like, this basket or this bag is too heavy for you to rise, and it's now time to witness it with love. And the moment you do that, suddenly the sand goes out and you're able to rise even more. But you can also choose to neglect it. But then the bag with sand becomes louder and heavier. And because that is what has happened for many, many lifetimes, eons, we've pushed parts of ourselves away, and they build up momentum. So they became louder, they became more heavier. And it's understanding that we're now being invited. And when you see it as an invitation, it's no longer like you're being punished, or it's no longer you're doing something wrong, or it's no longer you being a victim. No, it's shifting to, okay, this is an opportunity for me to see something that is influencing me daily. And by that, we feel empowered, because now suddenly we have a chance to shift it, to elevate our lives. And you notice when you go in communication with this part, things start to shift. And suddenly you're not forcing, and suddenly you're not contracting, you're opening the field, and you're tapping into an infinite potential, and beautiful things come on your path again. But it's in witnessing these parts and understanding that they're part of our field, because that is an important, I always love, and in the book it shares also a little bit, like your energy field is this ball of energy around you. And there are beautiful experiences, but there are also wounds and things from the past, and those are contracted parts. And they are sending out a vibration every day. They're manifesting energies, and a lot of these things we're not even aware of. But if you have a lot of these slower vibrations in your field, and you're doing all the intentions, you're meditating daily, you're setting out your affirmations, and nothing is manifesting, then it's you becoming aware of what vibration am I then sending out subconsciously that is not this message, because somehow there is resistance in my field. And that is, I think, this ascension journey and this spiral where we're in. You're constantly given information about your subconscious field, about what is ready to elevate, but we need to be willing to see it through love. Because when we're looking through the lens of judgment or fear or anger, like, these parts only contract even more, and they don't support us. But when we look through the lens of love, we suddenly see a wounded part, an inner child that is very hurt. And when you then witness it with love, it suddenly gets seen and acknowledged, and your field expands, and suddenly the manifestations go very quickly. But it's you being brave enough to see what is truly there instead of through the limit of the mind or conditioning. Yes. So there are many things. Yeah.
I mean, what you're saying is just so extraordinary because, you know, we have a tendency to go into feeling like I'm not worthy enough for this, or I don't understand. I better, you know, learn more, do more, think more, be more, you know, like all of that. And all, you know, you're giving us the medicine that says, if I wrap my love around it, I'm going to go into the energies more, and the vibrational match will come back. I will be able to, you know, hug that inner child, or what, you know, whatever is coming up for you to be released, and get it. And you start to just, you know, it almost feels a little magical that you know, like all of these obstacles fall away, and you go, now, what was I so worried about? What was I so, you know, insecure about? Let me bring more love in and more love in. And what is also coming to my mind for you, Kim, is that you're talking about the flower of love. And I often don't think of love in terms of a flower of love. So if we could just go into that energetic a little bit more, and what you mean by that and how you connect with that energy.
Yes, I would love to. It first started because also for me that was new. Like it wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna write a book about the flower of love. Again, I opened my field and in it the teachings came through. And what they symbolize is the connection to the field of love consciousness. And in the end, it's also what Christ consciousness is all about, love, and what many ascended masters have been anchored and trying to anchor deeper on earth. And what they shared was for many years, even lifetimes, light workers and beautiful souls have anchored light on earth. But now it's time for the next evolutionary step, and that's love. And the flower really symbolizes like the openness of our hearts, the expansion of our soul, the lineage of the rose, the lotus flower. So it's more a symbol of allowing the essence of you to blossom, but also the seed. When you plant a seed in a garden, and you nourish it with love and light and water and foods and everything, then it will blossom even more beautifully. And that's what we're like, this time and space. Again, it's not about hard force. It's not about pushing yourself. It's not about learning and doing more. No, it's coming back to the divine mother's softness. It's coming back to the love, because when you are willing to be embraced in love and be in the stillness with yourself, that's where your gifts and talents awaken. That's where your magic awakens. And that is what the world needs. The world doesn't need more copies of everyone else. No, the world needs your magic and needs your wisdom and your codes. And that's truly what love does. And when we connect to this field of love consciousness, it is allowing ourselves to be supported, to be nurtured. And it's understanding that we can tap into radio fear. We can tap into radio limitations, or we can tap into radio love. And that's what it's inviting you to do. And when we do that, it just supports us in beautiful ways. But how everyone will be supported is also different. And that's what I love as the lineage grows and as people interact with these love codes. Like everyone has different experiences, but they're all magical in their own way. But it's also understanding that sometimes it's not what our mind thinks it is. Because it's also with a seed. When we plant a seed in the garden, we're saying, no, you need to look like this. Otherwise, I don't like you, or this, otherwise I won't be happy. No, you plant it, you nourish it, and you allow it to grow in its own magnificence, knowing that it already holds everything it needs. And that's also the reminder for us, because sometimes life can be so challenging and we have all these wounds and these coping mechanisms of the past. But it's truly reminding that our seed of creation is also whole and intact. It's not impacted by the world outside of ourselves, but it's inviting us to return to this purest form of our being, to like unpack all these layers of illusion and return to love, return to our truest self and the magic that is there. And it's reminding that everyone holds something unique. And it's you finding that again and you, going in stillness. And that's what I love with the field of love as well. It holds space for you, because sometimes we also need to know we're safe and we're protected and we're guided and supported, because it's not always easy to go into the wounded parts or But there's the magic, because if you neglect this of yourself, it's like almost you're dragging this energy with you because it's part of you. Why neglect it? Why not embrace it and allow it to co-create with you? Allow all of you to support you in this beautiful world. And for me as well, it's the only way to elevate. So each time when I feel like, okay, a lot of triggers are coming up, it's always for me a reminder now that I'm moving into my next level. I'm growing and expanding, and that's why it's coming up. So I don't see it anymore as something that is happening to me. No, I see it as an empowering step. Like, okay, I'm choosing to grow and expand in my next level. And that's why I get an invitation. And sometimes it's painful, but it's knowing with the power of love, we can handle it and we're resilient and we're empowered. And yeah.
The for me, the key that you just shared with us is the mother, is the mother field, the mother earth, and the energy of being loved and held and protected and encouraged by the mother field. And then the metaphor that you just gave of planting the seed, you know, if we're not controlling that, if we're just nurturing, which is again that mother energy, that very divine, feminine, loving, caring, nurturing energy, it's like everything opens and you feel like you can have the excitement of moving into the next level, as opposed to feeling like, oh, I can't get there, or I'm not ready yet, which is so much the energy of contraction and, falling further into our despair. This is just an opening, like a flower is opening, and you're sharing it just so incredibly beautifully. Thank you for that. I wanted to ask you more about how the flower of love codes serve as a pathway for us to connect with our true selves, and also to the magic that you were describing, the magic within.
Yeah, it's really by connecting to this field of love consciousness. And what I love, like as you go through the pages, it's like a multidimensional transmission. So it really helps you. But there's also a card deck, and you can also just choose to tap in right now, to just for a moment connect with your heart and just invite the field of love consciousness to connect with every cell of your body, every part of your being. And it's already that simple, because that is what I noticed in my own journey. The most profound things are very simple. So you choosing in this now moment to connect to love, you're not choosing fear then, or you're not choosing the mind chatter. No, you're choosing love. And in that, your body relaxes, your field softens, and you suddenly open up to something greater than yourself. And in that, it's allowing, because that's also what this whole, for me, this time and space is all about. It's allowing, as the Divine Mother is holding space, to awaken your divine feminine, to awaken your inspiration, your creativity, your flow, your fluidity, and understanding this powerful energy that is within you, that has been suppressed for many, many lifetimes. And it's understanding that it's in every one of us. Like the divine feminine is part of whether we're woman or man, or whatever form we're choosing to be in this world. It's part of our creativity that is ready to flourish and step into this world. And these codes really form a reminder of the potency. And as you interact with it, I'm all about experience. So everything I share and the spaces I hold are from my embodied experience. So from my own. And that's the same with this. It's you finding what these codes do for you. So it's you tuning into the field. And I always find it like the moment we try to give words, and I try to do it in the most beautiful ways, but it can't really grasp the profoundness of what it really does when you're connected to love. And it's just this energy that I hope you feel, everyone tuning in as well, beyond these words, that is just uplifting. And that's understanding these codes are here to uplift you. They are here to support you. And the moment you go into the mind of limitation, it's your mind, it's your contracted part. And it's understanding that these codes are here to inspire you, to support you. So when you feel uplifted, when you feel supported, when you feel inspiration, it means you're tapped into something greater. And that's what these codes are for in this time and space, to remind you again and hold space, to come back to this space, to listen to your inner guidance. Because that's also for me, like, it's really the field of love that allowed me to expand in the last couple of years so rapidly. but it's by holding space and then me being brave enough to go into the stillness. And then you hear your codes, your wisdom, and each time you elevate your frequency, new codes awaken, because it's also understanding that certain vibrational codes only come when we have a certain awareness or we have a certain understanding. But it is in the simplicity, because that's really for me has been the significant shift. Like before, I always thought, okay, the teachings need to be very difficult and I need to work hard and understand and learn more, and then yes, then I will have it. But no, it's in the stillness, doing things you love, because it's also understanding when you're searching for your purpose and your mission. It's you following your joy, you following your excitement. And it doesn't mean that sometimes you feel challenged or you feel emotions or you feel uncertain. But the moments we allow ourselves to follow this path of joy, of excitement, of love, that's when we're on our mission. Then is when the next step will reveal itself. But it's coming to this whole different understanding of where most of us have been taught when we grow up. Life needs to work, life needs to be hard. You need to work hard, you need to study hard, you need to have all these things in place because then you can be happy. No, it's already within you. Enjoy the sunlight that is coming through, a nice cup of tea. And in those moments, we are in alignment. And then our magic comes. But our magic can be a word, a vibration, a whole lineage that is stepping forward. But it's not, again, in labeling what is coming, because that also dims our light again. Sometimes it's one word that comes up, or sometimes it's a vibration of just this joy and this deep fulfillment. And it's honoring that, because I think that's an powerful thing as well. It's coming back to this place of gratitude and fully receiving. Like our magic, our wisdom is in very subtle things most of the time, and it's us being willing to see this subtle shift, this subtle gift, or this subtle that allows more of it to expand. And yeah, so it's coming back to the stillness and coming back to noticing like the beauty, a butterfly that is flying by, or yeah, something that is popping up. Yes.
I love what you said about how simple it really is. Like
Yes.
we delude ourselves into thinking that we're not there yet, so we have to do so much work, when in fact the butterfly just flew by and we didn't even see the butterfly.
Yes, that, yes. Yeah, and it's understanding it's all within us already. It's unlearning rather than learning. It's
Yes.
going within than going without. And yeah.
Yes, and releasing and letting go and
Yes.
trusting. And, these are all what I consider the qualities of the fourth chakra, the heart essence, to really stand in faith and not knowing and not having to know, but to still be curious. And maybe sometimes it's not curious, maybe it's like letting go of the whole history of the trauma. It could be heavy stuff that
Yes.
we're releasing. However, just standing in that heart energy and just seeing it, really holding us. That's kind of what's
Mm.
coming in for me with the way that you're sharing with us. There was something that you said a little bit ago about whether connecting with the divine feminine, that this
Mm.
planet is ready for, whether you're a woman or a man. And
Mhm.
it kind of woke me up a little bit, because I thought, there's a lot of wounded men in our
Mm.
world who feel like they have to be something, or prove something. And they will tend to get into this, I can't move into this softer
Mm.
energy. Can you
Yeah.
speak a little bit about how you would maybe work with a man doing the Flower of Love codes?
Yes, of course. I think it's beautiful, and I've seen some beautiful men blossom in that area as well, because the world needs also men that step forward in this space of divine feminine embodiment and like the softness, the inspiration. And for me, like in essence, it's allowing all the forms of you to come into harmony. So you stepping into your divine feminine and divine masculine instead of the wounded parts, and you reclaiming the beauty of your inner child. Because when those three are in harmony, it means that you're like it's your superpower. It's allowing your creativity to come to life, your inspiration, your divine feminine, to receive it, to birth it, to hold space for it until the divine masculine is ready to bring it into the world and to birth the divine child. And it's allowing that's the divine order. But instead, we're being pushed to create, no, it needs to come only from the wounded masculine, or it needs to come only from this part. And for me, it's really sometimes for men, and I don't want to be generalistic because it can be for everyone, but sometimes for men, it's even more difficult. And I honor the men that feel this calling, because for them, it's sometimes even more difficult to step into this divine feminine embodiment and to really come back to this space where they get to feel again and get to express their deep authenticity, their deep vulnerability. But so many men desire that. They don't want to talk about a lot of 3D things anymore. They want to talk about their emotions, and they want to talk about like the things where they feel stuck and where they, but there's like on the women, it's much more easier to talk about these things. And for men, there is like this conditioning, like, okay, you need to be strong, you need to be brave, you need to provide for your family and all of that. And it gives so much pressure. So what I noticed, like when I work with men, it's like this, it's first letting go of all of those limiting beliefs, all of those patterns that just keep them stuck in this loop. And yes, it's easy to then with me share what is happening, but then at one point they also need to find a beautiful friend. They're willing to take this first step. But what I noticed when they do that, when they're willing and open to be vulnerable to a male friend, suddenly they notice like there is this connection that is starting. And suddenly they notice that a lot of friends, they have so many things cropped up inside of them, even like a paradigm, like where boys are being taught, don't cry or just toughen up, or imagine what that does with your energy system. Because like an important key in this time and space is understanding that our emotions and our body hold so much wisdom. They're constantly communicating with us. But imagine if you're, while growing up, constantly get hurt. Don't cry, don't feel your emotions, don't be too loud, don't be, it means you're numbing your whole communication system with your soul. It's like you're numbing your whole channel of inspiration, of inner guidance. And that's also why so many people, so many souls feel disconnected, because you're separated from yourself. And I think for a lot of men that is happening. And then it's logical that you're going into this wounded part, because that's the example they're getting. And it's also for women as well. So it doesn't mean that it's per se, but I celebrate men that are willing to get out of this comfort zone and that are willing to step, because the world needs that. And the moment men are really willing to step into this vulnerable space, it also means they can hold for women even more. And then you get this beautiful dynamic, because it's not per se only like we need to do this together. That's also the new earth. All of us within ourselves, harmonizing our divine feminine, masculine, but also on a larger scale. And it's stepping into this space of knowing that vulnerability is power. When we're willing to witness all of us, it also means that the outside triggers fade away. It also means that if our neighbor says something what maybe before would trigger us, it doesn't trigger us anymore, because we have harmonized it within our field. It's understanding the power we hold. And when we feel this connection within ourselves and this connection with the divine, we just have so much more to give to others. And it's this whole paradigm shift that then happens. And this, like, there's no competition anymore, but just love and support. And we see each other and we help each other. But it starts within. So it doesn't, in essence, it doesn't matter where you are on your path. It's you reconnecting with yourself, you choosing to be happy and choosing to step into this space of radiance, and understanding that when you are happy and when you are in alignment, that's also contributing to everyone around you, because then suddenly you have more energy to give, you have more, like even a smile. Because when you're happy, you just give a smile to a stranger, and that just creates this beautiful ripple. And it's understanding this power we hold within ourselves. So yeah.
So beautiful. And, you know, some people describe this as the beginning of a new era, or the planetary era, moving from the empire era to the planetary era. And it requires community and collective awareness, and almost like a unity focus, that we are really all choosing to step into this time and space now. So, just it just opens from the individual to, to the community, to our environment, to how we care for Mother Earth. And, it's just like it has this amazing ripple effect to everything that we're doing, because we are being empowered to, come into our fullness and our full selves and our potential. So it's just beautiful how you're describing that love is the doorway. It's like there it is. Love is the doorway. You can trust love to take you there.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and I think an important key right now is compassion, because it's understanding, and especially then coming back to the Mother Earth, raising her vibration. Every one of us, whether we see it or not, is being activated, is being triggered, is being invited to step into our next level. So in a way, we're all being challenged in our own lives, in our own unique ways that are inviting us to grow. So we can only look at others with compassion. And when we do that, things really start to shift. So look at your colleagues, at your neighbors, at your friends with compassion. And again, when you're being willing to be open and vulnerable, you'll notice when you share from this authentic space, suddenly someone you thought everything was going fine and they just had this magical life, suddenly you notice that they also get challenged and that there are also things within their lives. And then when we're truly in that open space, things start to shift. And then it's like no longer, and I sometimes just like social media, it has this beautiful image where everything is going well and we're not sharing these deep stories. But shifts really happen when we're willing to do that, when we're willing to show okay, and understanding that we're all human. We don't have to be perfect. It is embracing our humanness and just holding space for ourselves and others with compassion and love, and not per se diving into things immediately when we get triggered, because it's understanding that the solution is within ourselves. So when we get triggered, it's an invitation to look deeper within instead of judging the other. No, they're in a way, and sometimes that's very difficult, but they're giving you a blessing. They're showing you an opportunity to grow even more, and it's you reclaiming and also understanding that in each and every moment we have a choice, because whatever happened in your life until you're listening to this, know that doesn't have to define your future. No, you decide in this now moment, tap into love and see what then happens. And it's also, I think that's very empowering as well, that sometimes we have these moments where we become aware of, okay, I've gone into this old pattern and I don't want this anymore. But you don't have to stay in that. It's already the awareness, and then you can choose a different vibration. So again, choose into radio love and shift your energy out of fear, and then things start to click. And it's again that simplicity of, okay, yes, I've become aware and now I'm choosing. So choose love, choose you, choose, yes.
Choose love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So Kim, we understand that you have a free gift for
Yes.
people. I'm wondering if you could just talk a little bit about the free gift that you have.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's called the Seeds of Love, the Awakening Toolkit, and the free version has a powerful morning meditation, a love morning meditation, and a love evening meditation. And what I noticed, the first couple of minutes in your day, set the stage for your whole day. So this meditation, the moment you wake up, just tune into it and see how your day looks different. A lot of people have come back to me and said okay, I really noticed the shift when I do the meditation and when not. And it's again, the moment you wake up, tune into Radio Love and let that be your foundation for the rest of the day. So there's a beautiful morning love invocation you can call, and there are some beautiful reflection questions and things you can work with. But it's you experiencing it yourself, because I can say what it does with me, but I want everyone to experience the profoundness of love and the choice and the power it has within your life, because that, I think for me, that's the future wisdom. It is your own experience. So yes, we can say a lot of beautiful things, but it's you experiencing it for yourself that really empowers you. So yeah, you can find it on floweroflove.com, free gift, but you can also go to floweroflove.com and then you will see a button with free gift, and that brings you automatically to the Seeds of Love toolkit. So yeah.
Kim, one more question. Where can people find you online?
There are many platforms. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, But I think sometimes it's easier if you go to the floweroflove.com website, and then below you can find all the different things. I have a podcast and that's on YouTube. So there are many, many ways. So, and yeah, I'm building my new website as I shared just now. So my old website is floweroflove.love. So you can find more there, but things are slowly shifting. So
always in process. That's
yes, it
beautiful.
is.
And just
Always.
as a reminder for our audience that you also have that beautiful gift, that book called Activating the Flower of Love.
Yes.
So that can be found on Amazon, right?
On Amazon, yes. And all
On
the, if you ask it in
Amazon.com.
a major book, online and offline bookstores,
Yeah.
you can find it there. So yes.
So, Kim, thank you so much for all of your wisdom. And I feel my energy has really shifted today. I'm, I have this huge smile on my face that I can't seem to, hopefully it'll, ripple out into the whole day and the people that I see. And thank you for modeling such a beautiful expression of love. Thank you for being here. And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you again.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.